And then turn this way. The difference is the direction they came through. This one it was shot from inside out, and the other from outside in. So this is the evidence we're still holding for the church, and that shows again that the aim of the police was to kill because they're using live ammunition. If they're using the rubber bullets, they could have bounced on the fiberglass windows. Right. And again, 1996, 1997, the Truth and Reconciliation. This is the church where some of the hearings were held. Mandela was here, Desmond Tutu himself, ex-President de Klerk, and also the ex-police officers were in this church.
My parents were very much activists growing up, so I witnessed a lot of these things. Even with when I saw some of the first pictures, reminded me of Birmingham, Alabama, and to remember that it was the children who are always in the front because they know they're fighting for their future, and in every struggle, though the elders may want to, it is the children that are set forth and fight for their rights. And we continue to do that today, as my husband said, and we will continue to do so.
Well, there's a lot here to see. And I don't know that there is much difference between the struggle that went on in South Africa as it was in the United States. I will say this, for me, it was riveting and it was a full circle moment for me because I did participate in the United States in some of the protests and marches that went on in support of the people of South Africa when they were involved in their uprisings and protesting. And I think that through a lot of, well, for me, I think that protest is necessary. It is very important for people to express their discontent with the status quo in order to move forward. And I think that in South Africa, I see a lot of change, so that the efforts that were made by the people who were involved in the uprisings and the rebellion was for all the good.
Crazy that a couple of years ago, not years, Isn't it crazy that a couple of decades ago I couldn't do this? But I need you to watch me now. Come on.
Nelson Mandela stays. When they complete a certain section, they target the black spots in the city. Then the trucks will go, take all the belongings.
Indeed. How are you? Welcome to the Africa Travel Summit. This is our third night where we are talking about the continent of Africa and just sharing with you some of the different places that we've been taking folks to. My name is Jay Cameron. I am the founder of Maximum Impact Enterprises, where we bridge the gap between Africa and the African diaspora by way of travel experiences, educational resources, and so much more. And so that's why we are here tonight. Again, over the past several nights, we've been giving you insight into some amazing destinations on the continent of Africa. And many of us, we know that we've been, most of us, I should say, have been told negative things about Africa, or the most negative parts about the continent, with more than 50 countries, actually 54 countries. They're trying to squeeze out a 55th in here somewhere. So with 54 countries, thousands of ethnic groups, thousands of languages, we're learning, we're sharing, we're proud, especially those of us who descend from the continent, aren't ashamed of it, aren't trying to claim anything other than that. Our African ancestry, we are proud of that as well, you know, and recognizing that we have other ethnicity ancestry, that's fine. But we talk about our African ancestry and where we descend from, and we're proud about it, and we're celebrating it. And for those who are tuning in and joining us on the different platforms, there are folks watching us on YouTube, watching us on Facebook. Want to welcome you to the conversation. And of course, those who are part of the Maximum Impact family, thank you for tuning in as well tonight. So with you know how we do this. I always like to know, where are you representing from? Where are you representing from? It's time for the roll call. All right, so let us know in the chat. Where are you joining us from? Let me hop on over to the chat here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. All right. Charlotte, North Carolina, I see you. All right. Let me see. Everything's moving fast. All right. Let's see. H-Town, my man Elliot, back in the house again. One more again. See, how many y'all know about that one more again? That's straight down south right there. Y'all remember back in the day? I don't want to sing the song, but they would just, one more again. That's the Miami bass. Oh, boy. All right. Hey, DMV, DFW, that sounds like Dallas Fort Worth. Is that Dallas Fort Worth? Coming with it. ATL, Georgia in the house. Windsor, North Carolina. Wait a minute, Brenda Bond, hold on. Time out. Brenda Bond, time out. Hold on, I got to come back. Now I'm going to stay on the roll call. You from Windsor, North Carolina, Brenda Bond. Now this is kind of wild, y'all. Yeah, this is very interesting. This is how this whole thing comes together. Well, I descend from a lady named Effie Bond. Now I don't know Brenda. I don't know if you know Effie or not. I don't know if you know now. Let me find out if you. And actually, Effie Bond Speller. That was where her name was in there as well. Plumber Speller, Robert Speller, that whole crew out of Bertie County. I don't know, but the Bonds are some of my relatives. So let me find out. And I don't know Brenda, but you said Windsor, North Carolina. So that kind of caught my attention. And I know my folks are from Windsor, North Carolina, in addition to Charleston, South Carolina. My father's side is North Carolina. My mother's side is South Carolina. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's see. St. Louis in the house, Springfield, Illinois, Pretoria. Oh, is it Peoria, Illinois? Let me not mess up any name. Boogie Down Bronx. Hey, what's going on? My auntie from the Boogie Down Bronx, Gullah Geechee as well. Philadelphia, Rochester, California. All right. It is so good to see you. Birmingham, Alabama, Jackson, Tennessee. There we go. Milwaukee. We got a whole lot of folks watching from all over. And of course, if you're watching the replay, we'd love for you to be able to chime in as well in the comments. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Follow us, subscribe, all that good stuff. I want to make sure that I cover all of my bases. Now, okay. Your husband is related. Okay, see, let me find out. Wait a minute. Let me find out my cousin. Let me find out you my cousin-in-law. Let me find out. Because any Bonds who are related to the Spellers are related to me. Now, that's the deal. Any Bonds that are related, that's how this thing goes. Yeah. All right, so have your husband reach out to me. I would love to find out. Where this, where we connect. That's so cool. Savannah, Georgia. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Sister Pat. Tell Sister Pat I said hello as well. Texas in the house. All right, so Newark, New Jersey. All right, now the way this is going to work tonight is going to work a little different. I'm going to move very quickly because we have a heavy, yeah, right, Brenda? We have a heavy emphasis on Tanzania tonight. Now, we're going to talk about Ethiopia because we're about to release Ethiopia, but we got a heavy emphasis on Tanzania, and I'm going to show you some amazing, I spent a lot of time there, and I want to make sure that we get down to it and make sure that you get all this information. All right, so thanks to everybody for joining us. What is Maximum Impact Travel? We bridge the gap between Africa and the African diaspora through curated travel experiences to Africa, Europe, Central America, South America, the Caribbean, and parts of the United States of America, because the African diaspora is all over the world. Who am I? My name is Jay Cameron. I'm the CEO and founder of Maximum Impact Enterprises. I've been featured on all of these media outlets in the U.S. and around the world. Excited about being featured and sharing the story and bridging the gap and changing the narratives. And this is what I've been doing now since my first trip to Ghana in 2018. This has become what I do. It is the absolute most rewarding and fulfilling thing that I've ever done in my life. Nothing, absolutely nothing can come close or compare to what I do now and sharing these travel experiences. Been to 23 different African countries over the span of 3 years. Children's book series, The Adventures of Darren and Destiny, and our activity books. And guess what? You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, 42,000 plus strong, right there on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and share, all that good stuff. Make sure you pick up the activity books that we have featuring Ghana. And that's right. This is how we do it. Dispel the narratives, the negative narratives, by changing the narratives, by presenting things in a positive light. And also, not just a positive light, but in a way where our children can understand it. Just like we were taught as children to, embrace American nationalism. Well, we're going to embrace our African descendant nationalism from wherever we descend from on the continent of Africa. Some of us come from all over the continent of Africa. Some of us come from one place. But wherever you come from, we're going to say it loud. We are Black, African descendant, and we proud. That's just how it is. And can't nobody do nothing about it. You can be mad about it all you want, but that's how it is. That's how we represent, and that is how we roll. So with these books, you can instill positive narratives into the minds of your children. And guess what? A lot of adults enjoy these activity books. You can pick them up on Amazon. Ghana and South Africa available currently. And so make sure that you pick those up. A very, very comprehensive activity books. We also have the Maximum Impact Success Academy, and this is where it's a universal family academy. This is where we continue to offer resources so we can learn and grow, our children can learn and grow, and that's why we are excited to be able to share that with you coming up later this year, and you will be able to sign up and be a part of this universal family academy, and that's something that we love to be able to share, and as we share it, more and more people are learning about and becoming a part of it. So take a look at this.
In the house. Hello adventurers, once again we are in the kitchen. I am Teacher Jessie and we are doing some awesome things in this kitchen in Ghana. As you can see, I am not by myself, but before we go any further, this Maximum Impact adventure is parent approved, meaning we're going to do some real cooking and things in here, and of course we want you to join us, but make sure your parent or guardian is around because safety is first. Now, you see I'm in the kitchen, but I am not by myself. We have one of the top finest chefs here in Ghana, here to show you a special little treat they like to do. Chef, introduce yourself to the adventurers.
Hi, I'm Chef Kakraba. Today we'll be preparing a traditional Ghanaian recipe called Keliwele. Keliwele is a traditional recipe that can be found everywhere across Ghana. Basically, it's so...
What do you think was our greatest adventure, Destiny?
Perhaps when we went searching for gold all over Ghana.
That's what you call adventure? What about the time we had to run for our lives from the mummies in Egypt?
You call that fun? I was so scared, Darren. How is that an awesome adventure?
Because that was better than being caught in the middle of a wrestling match with rhinos.
Yeah, but being in South Africa was so cool. My favorite was the dancing. We did so many cool moves, like the Vaso.
Yeah, in South Africa, we got down. But in Kenya, we got up. Who knew the tribe could jump so high? I felt like I was flying.
See, you don't almost have to die to have fun.
True, true. Remember helping that baby zebra find its family during the safari in Tanzania? Even though we had to run from the lions?
Running from lions might actually help you make the track team.
And oh, who could forget those giraffes and their unique kissing techniques?
Ew! Those tongues? Never again!
Yuck! But think Senegal, that pink lake, never seen anything like it.
I've never seen anything like the top of Mount Kilimanjaro.
Destiny, you know what I think our greatest adventure might be?
What, Darren?
The one we haven't been on yet.
So
And there's so much more coming from the Maximum Impact Success Academy. Just wanted to give you a sneak peek about what's on the way. We're going to be showing folks how to go to college without taking on any student loans, helping families get their finances in order so they can travel the world, showing people how to get their business life established for those who are interested in that, laying a positive foundation for our children, expanding their mind, creating these wonderful adventures. So much going on with the Maximum Impact Success Academy online. It's going to be subscription based. It's on the way 2024. We're working hard behind the scenes, as you can tell. Shout out to teacher Jessie, who's doing her thing. She actually lives in Rwanda, but she is one down to earth, one cool sister, and I'm glad to have her as a part of the Maximum Impact team. All right, she was just featured in New York Times, as a matter of fact, talking about how she she left the U.S. and went over to Africa. So that is something cool, and I'm glad to be connected to so many inspiring people. All right, so just to let you know, on the way, special offers coming down the pike. Be sure to subscribe to Maximum Impact with Jay Cameron on YouTube. Also, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. You get all these different updates. Tonight, we're going to be moving quickly because we got a lot to share with you. Also, for our affiliates, make sure that you share your affiliate links. And for those who get the links, make sure that when you book your trip that you use the affiliate link to book the trip so your friend, your family member can get credit for it. So please be sure to do that. Again, just to let everybody know, we're not the Cheap Trip to Africa company because we make sure that we do not exploit the people on the ground. We make sure that they are able to earn a fair compensation for their skills and for their time and talent and efforts. That's who we are. We believe that's a part of Bridging the Gap as well. We curate travel experiences of a lifetime. We just don't give you trips, but we curate life-changing experiences. Just as I've been asking over the past several days, why have so many people never traveled to the continent of Africa? Please type in the chat. Let me know what your thoughts are. Why so many people have never traveled to the continent of Africa? And also, why don't so many people have a passport? Now, that's okay. We're not here to make you feel any kind of way. We're here to inspire you. We're here to motivate you. We're here to lead you, to help you get to wherever you want to go on the continent of Africa. Maybe you want to go to South America. Maybe you want to go to see Black London or Black Amsterdam or Black Paris, because everywhere we go has an emphasis on the African diaspora. And for those who have an interest in it, all people are welcome. Everyone is welcome to participate in our trips, but just like they shoved Christopher Columbus down our throats and George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and all of these people, and they told us that they were great for us and all of that, just like they shoved them down our throats and had us believe in that stuff. Well, we're here to show a different side, a side that chances are you will not see in 99% of the United States of America and probably none of Florida. And so we're here to do our part. Instead of talking about and complaining about it, we're here to bridge the gap, educate, inspire, and guess what? Let people see for themselves and encourage them to see for themselves. For me, I was afraid to travel internationally because I bit the bug. I knew I was listening to people. I was the one that was spooked. You know, y'all know how it goes. You get spooked, something happens, everybody's spooked and scared. Folks talking about they got faith in a mustard seed and they don't have a spirit of fear, but the first time they hear something scary, they're running scared. And you know what? I was doing that too. And I had to say, now I got to tap in now. Do I really have the faith of the mustard seed, or do I really have the spirit of fear? What am I really all about? And I had to check in. And I realized most of my life I was afraid to leave the American plantation and go out and see the rest of the world. I was afraid to do that because guess what? They say there's so many bad things out there. It's better here, safer here, you know, with carjackings and home invasions and mass shootings in malls and everything. You're much safer here than if you go out there and see. And it's when I went to go see for myself and I was able to tap in and I saw for myself, that's when the fear was lifted from me, and that's when I began to live. That's when I began to discover who I was. When I got outside of the bubble and I began to see the hidden treasures that were intentionally hidden from me, but I didn't realize it because there were mental boundaries that were in place. I grew up in the Washington metropolitan area and didn't leave that area for most of my young adult life. I would go down to Charleston, South Carolina, because that's where I was born, so I knew the I-95 corridor, but not too far out of those boundaries would I venture. I got a little older, Went up to Canada, saw Niagara Falls, went to Toronto, went down to Florida, went to Miami, went to New Orleans, but I'm still right there on the East Coast of the United States because I don't want to get too far away from home because they say the boogeyman gonna get you, the African what they call it, the African booty scratcher gonna get you. Somebody gonna get you if you leave outside these borders. You better stay home now. I even saw a video where they were talking about some stuff happening with the food and everything. I was like, hey, do you know the stuff they used to do at the fast food restaurants and Domino's Pizza back in the day? Do y'all remember them stories about stuff that would happen? So that didn't seem to faze us. But you talk about going out too far outside of those boundaries. Yeah, now we're stuck and we're afraid. And that was me. Now, some people, you travel the world, you got outside of the boundaries. Good, that's a good thing. I'm excited. But for so many of us, we've been stuck. Or we just go, we take the big leap and we run down to the Caribbean. And so that's about as far as we go. And that was me. I wasn't trying to go too far. I remember the first time I went to Jamaica, I went to Haiti, went on a cruise ship. And they had a little area in Haiti that was pristine where the cruise went. But right outside the gate, they said, don't go outside the gate because the people are going to get you. The people are going to get you. And if you go out there in Jamaica, the people are going to get you. And this is what they would tell us. I was like, man, I'm walking through Jamaica. I'm scared. But these my people. But I'm scared. They told me. Now the narrative is, who's telling me this? Well, and I'm not suggesting to be unwise. I'm not suggesting to just go, just throw caution to the wind. But at the same time, who's feeding me this information? The cruise line is feeding me this information to say don't go there, but yet go to the places that we say are okay because y'all still want my money. Y'all still want to go and steer me in the direction you want me to go in because that's supposed to be safe, So all these little things I didn't understand, but nevertheless, I still started expanding my borders, expanding the boundaries, and there I was. Here it is. Again, as I said over the past several nights, the boundaries, inside of those boundaries, doing the same thing day after day, week after week, year after year. And that's what was going on. I had a bucket list that I was barely kicking anything off of. And then one day I woke up and I said, it's time for a new day. And I needed a reboot. And a lot of us, that's where we are. We need a reboot. Time for something new. Time for something different. And so because of that, that's when these hidden treasures came along, and I understood it was time for me to do something different. But when I started talking about it, now I was looking for co-signers to say, hey, y'all want to go with me traveling? Then came the excuses. How long is the flight? Why we got to go there? Why can't we go? Is it everything? Why can't we just do it the way that we've always done it? Why does it have to be a different culture? Why don't they do it the way we do it in America? Little did I realize, as long as I embraced that line of thinking, I was the one who was going to miss out because there were so many things I could learn about other people's cultures and the ways other people live outside of how I was living. So what was it going to cost me to stay in those boundaries? It was going to cost me everything. It's going to cost me the hidden treasures. It was going to cost me the Adventures of Darren and Destiny, what I shared with you earlier, the Maximum Impact Success Academy. It's going to cost me the documentary that we did about Tanzania. It's going to cost me the lessons that I've learned when I've been to Egypt and Morocco and Sierra Leone, my Sierra Leone passport. It would have cost me all of that, and the stamps, the many stamps I've had because I have an ECOWAS passport. It would have cost me the ability to change my perspectives and try new foods and try new languages and try just new experiences because I would have been stuck in the boundaries. It would have cost me the confidence that I now have unapologetically that can sit down and talk to anyone about the continent of Africa boldly, even if they try to come and say, well, that those politicians are corrupt over there, and that they have all these challenges over there in Africa, and you see the political unrest that's going on, and you see everything that's happening over there in Africa, and all of those politicians, and they can't seem to do right by their people. I say, yeah, it sounds just like America. You see all of the political unrest that happened back in January a couple of years ago? Do you see some of the political things that are happening in the United States of America? And folks be looking like, well, yeah, that's different though, because, well, no. But do you know who controls those presidents in those countries? Do you know that the colonial power still control them? Do you understand they don't have any military capacity to be able to really do anything? So when you start going down that road and having that confident conversation, folks say, wait a minute, you know what? I never thought about it like that. I didn't, you know what? I might need to reassess some things. And so that's what it would have cost me had I stayed within the boundaries. And so that's what we want to help people do now, to be able to get that confidence they need to when they open their mouth and when somebody tries to say, see, them Africans don't like us, and them Africans did this and sold us into slavery, them Africans did this, that, and the third. That's why I don't even want to go there. I ain't trying to go there, go back to there, because they sold me into slavery. First of all, you have never been a slave. That's the first thing. Maybe mentally, but physically, you've never been a slave, and according to the context of that type of slavery. Secondly, the people who are alive today did not do that, and many of their families lost. See, this is what you learn when you start to travel. Many of those families, their families lost the same way that our families and our ancestors lost. So when you begin to do that, you now establish and understand the confidence. You understand what happened. Now you can embrace the continent and all of its natural resources, all of its cultures, all of the history that's come along with it. And you can say, you know what? I say it loud. I'm black and I'm African and I'm proud. And I'm anything else, and anything else that's mixed in there, you can be proud of that too. So that comes with that comes with traveling and being able to say, you know what? Say what you want to say. It does not matter. I got this. And when you can do that and not worry about what other people have to say, there's a level of freedom that you can live with. And had I never traveled and got outside of those boundaries, I'd be thinking of one particular way, I'd be living one particular way, and now outside of those boundaries, I'm able to see the world a completely different way. Also, in traveling the world, it became a form of therapy for me, and that's how it is for so many people. I see it. I see them traveling. What are you doing? I had to get out the matrix. I had to just start seeing and living, and that's what you see. So for some people, it's therapy. For other people, it's adventure. For others, they're getting out the rat race. For others, they're relaxing and enjoying. And so now, as we get ready to talk about Tanzania tonight, I'm going to take you on a journey. I'm going to show you several clips. And I want you to really see, because Tanzania touched my life in a way that I don't think any other place has. When I say that, meaning, and I tell people all the time, I don't have a favorite country, but each country has a special place in my heart. And Tanzania definitely has it. When I talk about climbing to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, that's one piece of the puzzle. And so that's happened. And I'm going to share a little bit of that with you. Then I'm going to share with you some more in-depth aspects of Tanzania, why you should join us in Tanzania. So I want you to sit back, relax. I want you to enjoy what you're going to see. You're going to see it. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you how you can join us in Tanzania. I'll give you some details on how you can join us coming up in Ethiopia. We're going to be releasing that very, very soon. But right now, let's go and see the adventure of Tanzania.
What made you say, I'm going to go climb Kilimanjaro?
When I went to Ghana, I knew that there was something missing.
Why'd you go to Ghana? What started the whole
What started the whole thing was curiosity. And I did the ancestry DNA, then I did African ancestry. Then when I was doing the whole Uber experiment, I was meeting all these people from Africa. And there was this one young lady from Ethiopia, and then she told me, this Ethiopia is this great place, you need to go. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, whatever, okay, I'm gonna go one day on my bucket list. But then I did the ancestry, and this whole piece about Africa kept coming up in my mind. And then I just decided to do it. I said, I'm gonna stop waiting around, I'm gonna do it. From there, went to Ghana, and the first thing that hit me is that, wait a minute, there's something I wasn't told. Just had lunch, and we are getting ready to start this journey. We're getting a lot more footage along the way, so stay tuned. So we made it to the top after the rock scramble. Life above the clouds is completely different. Behind me is the summit. We're on our way. We are in a cloud. That's what's happening.
I'm dressed like a handmaid.
This is literally like from another planet.
Wakaribishwa Kilimanjaro, hakuna matata.
Jay, there's a saying in life, there ain't no mountain high enough. Especially, that's been my lifetime saying. Actually, I invented a mountain called Space Mountain. But you, my brother, have climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. Even the nature boys haven't done that. You are my hero. You are my man. You are the man. Congratulations. Woo!
I have made it. Alright. Oh my goodness. You don't understand what it's taking to get to the roof of Africa. The summit, Mount Kilimanjaro. Oh. Everything in me to get here. Oh my goodness. I'm so exhausted.
As a child growing up, I remember when my family would reference Africa, and anytime they would talk about Africa, it would be a negative. It was never anything positive. It was always some sort of derogatory term. And so because of that, I, like many people, had no interest or desire in even visiting or traveling to the continent of Africa. I spent more than 40 years of my life with this mentality. So as I traveled throughout Africa, I began to see that the story was broader. The story was not just what they were telling us in America. The story was something so much larger, and the context was so much larger, and it was a global system that had been in place for more than 500 years. So once I understood that, and I understood the story and how it predated what we were taught in America, I said, there's more I need to learn. I've seen what this continent has to offer. For years, I was told that Africa was a place that I shouldn't come to. I was never even taught how diverse Africa was with more than 50 countries. The interesting part about it is that although Africa was being demonized in America and in the West, when I came here, it was interesting to see how many people from Asia, from Europe, all over the world, they were here building their dream, making millions and billions of dollars, but the African diaspora was discouraged from coming. So why is that? What is it that they did not want us to know about this continent that holds much of our DNA? What's going on, everybody? This is Jay, and I'm here in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. I'm on the east coast of the country, and this is what many people would call the New York of Tanzania. Now, I've spent a lot of time in West Africa. You've seen me all over Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, and I could go on and on. But I'm now here in East Africa. And Tanzania is a country that I came to that literally changed my life. After my first trip to Ghana, I said I need to go to East Africa. Oftentimes people will go to one country and say, that's it, that's all of Africa. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's so much diversity on this continent and so much diversity within these different countries. I want to show it to you. And that's what this East African adventure is all about here in Tanzania. Well, hello. Hello. Good to see you. Last time I saw you was in Ghana.
Listen, I know, right?
Hello, everybody. This is like it's a real moment. How you doing? Pleasure to meet you. All right.
My name is Nancy Kofi, and I am from Columbia, Maryland. This is Jay Smack and my daughter, Claudette Bellamy.
My daughter was the one that said she had wanted to come here for a very long time. And so she talked about it. And, I got a little excited. I'm slow to get excited, but that's okay. But I kind of caught up on it. And she said, you should come on and go. And so I am so glad that you invited me.
Hi, I'm Jade, and I'm really happy to be here. I'm so excited to be here. I love seeing all the animals. I'm 7 years old. This is my mom, and this is my grandma.
I've always wanted to go to Tanzania for her 10th birthday, and then we had a loss in the family, and I was like, why are we waiting? Tomorrow's not promised. And then I saw a trip that was planned. I didn't have to do anything, so.
My name is LaDanya Williams. I'm from Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. I looked a little bit into Maximum Impact, and I loved all the other trips they did. I thought it'd be an amazing opportunity, and I was just really excited to come because I've never been to Africa before. So.
Jumbo. My name is Harry Fulton, Sr., okay? I'm from the U.S. state, Georgia, city, Atlanta. I became because my wife wanted to come. I quite didn't want to come to Africa, okay? And when I came, got on a plane and the trip and everything, and I got here, I said, well, I'm gonna have an open mind. But one thing I can say, and I got a smile on my face, and when I got here, the people were so nice. When I got here, they were so kind. And I like, oh my, race to dinner, I got to meet you guys, and y'all started telling me about the trip, and I said, okay, this is gonna be fun.
But we are here for the East African Adventure. You all are part of the inaugural kickoff experience here in East Africa. Many of you have already been a part of our West African inaugural experience, gateway experience in Ghana. This is very different. So for those who've been to Ghana, leave Ghana in Ghana. Leave America in America. Leave Ghana in Ghana. You are now in Tanzania. You're going to have the experience to see the Maasai village. You're going to go to the Ngorongoro crater. You're going to go to the Serengeti. And obviously Zanzibar, just a lot of activities. It's a fast-paced, fast-moving trip, but you do have opportunities to disengage and enjoy the beach. Zanzibar has some of the nicest beaches you'll ever see. When I came here, I saw how much was withheld from us in the West. And so I know I had a responsibility to be that vehicle where people could come and see, and not just come and see from the standpoint of it being a tour, but from it being an experience. And so when people come and they get that experience, and I see how it transforms them, I see their reactions, I see those aha moments happen in others, that's what makes it worth it for me, because I know how limited the exposure has been in our educational system, in our cultural system, in our entertainment as it pertains to this continent of Africa.
You have to be very quiet, and the fact that you are seeing something that this magnificent is awesome. Beautiful, wonderful.
Hello, my name is Kayana Bradley. I am from Washington, D.C. So it's amazing because a lot of people, I'm a single woman as well, right? And a lot of times when you're single, you feel like you can't travel unless you have friends or unless you have a man. And for me, I've always wanted to come to Africa, and there was nobody who was available. All my other friends were either held up on other obligations or something, and I don't have a man, so what is there for me to do? But Jay, being able to see that he provided an opportunity, I had to fly here by myself, but being able to link up with a group who's able to explore and feel safe and not be by myself, I think that was a great, great way for me to still be able to live life outside by myself, but also within a community.
That we do with Maximum Impact Travelers, create these exposure opportunities. As you look around, there's one thing to watch it on a video, to read about it in a book, but to experience it for yourself is priceless. And that's what we look to do as we talk about bridging the gap and mending the fences. This is a part of it, creating exposure opportunities. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to have these exposure opportunities all throughout Africa. But this is just one of our adventures, the East African adventure in Tanzania. Now, when I talk about this, for many of us, we've been told these negative narratives about the continent of Africa, and without even realizing the different countries, the different cultures. And this is just one aspect of it, just one aspect. And we want you to be able to have this experience firsthand right here in Tanzania. As you look around, families are coming together, generations. You have a grandmother, a mother, a granddaughter. You have families bringing their other friends and family along with them. And that's what you can do.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Can everyone hear me? Everyone understands English? Everyone's here for a balloon ride? You're in the right place, because lion wrestling is over there. At this time, it is very loud and very hot, so you will know why we call it hot air ballooning. So if you're cold, we're gonna warm you up, okay?
My name is James Ezel. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm religious, but I'm, more spiritual than anything. And I just believe that all things work for the good of the Lord, and that I might plan my ways, but God orders my steps. And I believe, when I met Jay, everything changed. He kind of inspired me to come to Africa and come on one of his tours. And I'm really just glad that I made that decision to come, because since I've been going on his tours, which this is my second one, it's just been one journey after another, and it's very exciting. I had met so many people. I've experienced so many things that I knew that I could never experience unless I came on one of Maximum Impact's tours.
In the Western world, most of us are familiar with animals, and our connection to animals largely is with a zoo. And we see them in captivity. But how often do we see them in their natural habitat, undisturbed, unbothered, and living as they should? And when that happens, it leaves an impression upon you that you never forget.
It's pretty cool when they're in their natural habitat. We see them in zoos, but to actually see them in their natural state, it's really cool. So, yeah.
Oh! Did you see how big? Did y'all see we almost hit the... Yeah.
He got out the way, didn't he?
I think the name is appropriate because you're impacted. you're impacted for life. Some of the things that we experience, that I have experienced on this journey, is it's just fantastic. It's something that I would remember for the rest of my life.
One of the things that I am adamant about is bridging the economic gap as well as bridging the culture gap. And it's so important for us to support the local communities whenever we visit a country or a territory, because oftentimes these places are exploited. You'll have what we know as culture vultures coming in and taking the culture, reproducing it in their country, and then selling it back on the open market as if it's authentic. And so one of the best ways to find authentic made artifacts, well, not artifacts, but artwork and crafts is to be able to come and spend your money in these local villages. That's what we do. It is a must. I believe it's important for us to make sure that we keep our dollars in those communities. So what we're doing is making sure that the local population gets the credit, the local population has a voice, and that's what this is all about.
The fact how they built it and the different rooms, and the fact that they have a little station for the baby cows. And then the whole kitchen and everything is just so compact, but it's so, I don't know, the way it's made is so smart.
Good.
Yes.
Very informative, very informative. And the structure is, for a hand-built structure, this is amazing.
My name is Jeff, and I'm from Akron, Ohio, and I'm a police officer. Well, me and my wife went to Ghana, and there was a lot of questions from the kids. What was it like, this, that, and the other. So with us bringing the youngest one this time, now she'll have to answer some questions, but she got to see it for herself. And I think everyone should see it for themselves.
Akron, Ohio in the house.
Yeah! It's good to learn together. Experience is the best teacher. So even though when I went back last year, I kind of talked through my family with some things that I saw, but they can't really understand what I felt unless you see it for yourself.
Faith Benson Lettle. These are my parents. I'm from Akron as well. What else am I supposed to say?
Whatever you want.
What brought you here?
Oh, they brought me here. This is my college graduation gift. I'm from Akron, Ohio. My name is Faith Benson Lettle. I'm a teacher. I think it's important to come here to really change your mindset about the world around you. I feel like my culture, or my age group, I guess, is stuck in like ourselves. Like we're social media and all that. We're always stuck in our own little bubble, our own little world. And we're so self-centered. And I feel like coming here makes you think of others and how, I don't know, just people around the world and how the world works in a different way than just it being about you.
So later on, when Dr. Luis Leakey heard about all the stories, he wanted to know more about this place.
One of the reasons why I like to bring people here and bring people to a lot of the historical places is, one, to see the history with their own eyes, but then also to listen to how the narratives are being told. This place was funded by the European Union, and so as a result, the narrative is going to be told from a European perspective. It's important for us to make sure that we don't omit them from the stories. It's important for us to make sure that we include their stories in our stories and give them the same credit, and making sure that we're not co-conspirators to European supremacy. As I pass through this door, I'm reminded of the countless people who passed through the other way and never returned. As I return to this part of Africa, it is interesting to learn about the context of the story that most of us have never been taught about. Oftentimes we associate the slave trades with West Africa, but in reality, East Africa has a very compelling story. It's a story of brutality. It's a story of culture erasure. It's a story of lies, manipulations, but today what we're doing is breaking down those lies, and we're going to show you the beauty, we're going to show you the unique qualities of the cultures located here in East Africa, and then we're going to bring you to paradise in Zanzibar. And as you learn about this history, you'll understand why Africa is the wealthiest continent in the world.
My name is Linda Pinkney. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, and I am a retired educator. I want to tell everyone who might be thinking about coming to Africa to visit for whatever reason, open up your eyes and see all the wonder and mystery of an African adventure to visit family. I don't own the rights to that. That is written by Jay Cameron.
We have got two species. We have got red and white, which is the effect of conserving this forest started around second half.
My name is Dolores Smith. We live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm a property tax analyst. It's like I just couldn't let it pass without us. So here we are. You met Tyrone. He's a character, but we are enjoying it.
A lot of people in where I come from, the cultures I come from, they say, well, we don't have any cultural connection to Africa. We don't understand that. We don't, why go? We don't even speak the languages. You know, tell me what your tribe is. You don't even know your tribe. I said, and I asked them, I said, well, have you ever been? And I've yet to meet someone who has been. They could come back and say, well, yeah, I've been. And I feel that same way. We are in Zanzibar, off the coast of mainland Tanzania in the Indian Ocean. And we're getting ready to go out on 2 boats. And we're going to tour around the island and have lunch and just kind of have a good time just chilling. Today is a chill day, but I remember growing up looking in the magazines as a child, and I would always see these tropical places and say, well, one day I wish I could get there, one day. And I realized as I was getting older that if I didn't make one day happen, it wasn't going to happen. And so being here, this is my 5th time, I think, 4th or 5th time here in Zanzibar, and I feel just as at home here in East Africa as I do in West Africa, as I do in America. And it's all about how you're able to adapt and appreciate cultures, and that's really what's going on here. So stick around because we got much more on the way.
Hakuna Matata.
My name is Tyrone Smith. I go by my middle name, Barry, from Detroit, Michigan, living in Lebanon, Tennessee right now. I'm retired from the post office. And, you know, I can't say I come from here, you know, but in my heart, this is it.
We're waiting for the other boat.
Yeah, I see it.
Admiring this beautiful sky.
As I traveled throughout Africa, I began to see that the story was broader. The story was not just what they were telling us in America. The story was something so much larger, and the context was so much larger, and it was a global system that had been in place for more than 500 years. And the best way to keep it going is to keep people misinformed about it and to keep people separated. And that's what I would see. So me not having an interest in coming, me not wanting to be a part of it, was all a part of the plan. But when I came and I saw for myself that the people, because they would tell us, you know, the people in Africa don't like you. They're not going to welcome you as a brother or a sister. They're not going to do this. They're not going to do that. As if they're supposed to see it through our lens and through our context. When in actuality, on the continent of Africa, they didn't see that brother, sister, black, white thing that we see in America. They don't even see it that way here. Their worldview is completely different. They don't see it through the eyes of racism, but we see it through those eyes. So when we come over here without really understanding it, we're expecting them to see it through the worldview of a black American or wherever someone might come from. And so because of that, for a lot of people, it leads to disappointment because they have an expectation. They're expecting this, red carpet to be rolled out that really shouldn't be rolled out because it's not a part of the culture in most parts of Africa. But the truth of the matter is, once you understand the power, the people, the promise, the resources, the wealth, I can never refer to Africa as poor.
The first religion was Zoroastrian per se, the religion from Persia.
From Persia.
From Persia, yeah. That the religion the Persian brought into this country, while the African did not have specific religion.
So Islam is not indigenous to Zanzibar. It's not the original religion in Zanzibar.
No indigenous religion to Zanzibar.
Okay.
When it's come to dressing, you see women go covered.
Yes.
That does not express their religion here. It is more to their culture.
Interesting that you say that.
The Christian that born and raised in Zanzibar go covered. It is more to their culture than to their religion. It happened, anybody start religion fight, he's not from this island.
Interesting.
If somebody is coming from this island, we are all together, brothers, as one.
So give me a little bit of history about this place right here. This is what I'm looking at right up here.
Here you're looking at the Arab fort. That's how we do call it, or you can call it Portuguese fort, or you can call it old fort, whatever. Because this been built by the Portuguese, been built by the Arabs. The Portuguese started, and then the Arab came to accomplish. The Portuguese, apart from having a piece of fort, which was not that big, they also had a village here. Like that piece of building, you see, you can see that piece of wall over there.
Right.
Yeah, with like a window. That is the original wall from the Portuguese chapel, which they built.
So they had a Portuguese chapel here?
Chapel, yeah, small church. They had it here. And this piece of wall here, you can tell that here was the building. Probably this was the size of the fort that built by the Portuguese. But after the war between the Omani against the Portuguese lost the war. The Omani thought that the Portuguese would return, so that they decided to extend the size of the fort, and they built all of this, you see, and the other side as well. The other side is as big as this one. But because the Portuguese never returned after they moved to Mombasa, Kenya, then Mozambique, this area once used as a place for execution by sword. And then it been used as a slave market.
Slave market?
Very little. Because slave market started at Kelele Square in the western side of Stone Town, and then it came here for a short while. Then the official market was open, where we have been at the Anglican Cathedral.
So who were trading those who were enslaved? Were the Arabs? Were the Catholics?
It started during the Portuguese.
Okay, so that's Catholic.
Yeah, okay. And then it went on during the Omani. Until on 5th of June 1873, slavery stopped.
Any melanated person that has been ripped away from their ancestry should journey to Africa just to have a connection with our lineage. When you get here, the people are so welcoming that it's overwhelming, because we honestly have heard all types of myths. Oh, you better be careful going there. And they just make it seem like you're going to get your organs snatched. You're going to be, I mean, this is all kinds of things that are said about coming to Africa. And I've never felt better. The fresh fruits, just the cleansing energy coming from the ocean that is also so very healing with the salt water. It is just amazing. So every melanated person should at least journey to Africa once.
We used to produce a perfume, one among the best that you have, and we like to call it a Chanel No. 0.
Well, the presentation of Africa, my entire life has always been negative. When I was growing up, they would have songs about how Africa needed all of this support from America, or how they didn't have snow in Africa, and how charity was always needed in Africa. But once I really understood the full story about all of the natural resources that are here, and how much of the world exports from this continent but does not adequately compensate the people for what's being exported, and will actually sell it right back to them. Once I understood that, and I understood that in many ways it was calculated to make those of us who descend from this continent not even want to come back or learn about it, because if you keep that information withheld, what it then does is it causes an affection for where we may have been born without recognizing where we originate from.
I see so much of us in each other. Like, I see so many similarities of people of color in America as people of color here in Africa, but it's just something innate in us. As one of the tour guides said, Africa is like born in you.
Where I come from, I feel like a lot of people have different ideas about Africa and what they would see when they come here. But for me, I think going into new situations, I always try to be open and flexible. That's something I've learned over the years. But I try not to have too many perceptions and not too many expectations. Then you come into a new experience with open eyes and you're open to take anything on and you enjoy the experience more. So I think most perceptions are that, like, nothing's really put together, or like it's not organized, I guess, per se. And I feel like I just came in thinking that, like, whatever I see, I see. And I knew from my parents too, from going to Ghana last year, that it would be like, it's actually a very beautiful place and everything. So I was just excited to experience that for myself and not be closed-minded on anything.
I know my experience here on the continent has been very different. And if I never came and saw for myself, if I had listened to Smokey Robinson, listened to my family, listened to what all of these other people had to say, I would be missing out on some of the greatest experiences that I've ever had in my life. Bridging the gap, it's not just bridging the gap between Africa and the African diaspora, it's also bridging the gap between so-called African Americans and other African Americans.
Their minds are really closed to what Africa really has to offer.
Last thing, I think just everybody should just come at least once.
We're going to try to tell our friends and make a difference, to let them know that some of the stereotypes that people do have about Africa are not true.
It's just been beautiful, being able to see all of the nature, all of the animals. It feels like I'm in a movie, I said.
I just felt drawn in by it, and it really was amazing. So that was like, that was everything for me.
Regardless of your ethnicity, I encourage you to see this continent of Africa for yourself. See one of the 54 plus countries on this continent. Don't take someone else's word for it, because someone else's word might come from someone else's opinion, which might be based upon someone else's interpretation. There's nothing like interpreting for yourself. And that's what leads to the maximum impact. When you can see for yourself, when you can hear for yourself, when you can interpret for yourself, that is the power of travel. And no one can take that from you. Woo! I got chills watching that, and I was in it. Wow, what an amazing adventure. And I wanted to share that with you because Tanzania holds a special place, just like we shared at the beginning, showed you some of the journey to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. But even when I first started talking about this, the hidden treasures. If I never went to Africa, if I never went to Ghana for the first time in 2018, I would not have had that experience. I would not have created that documentary. It's on Amazon Prime. We actually have a longer version that takes you inside of the Hadza people. You get a chance to see the gazelles and the python battle the hyenas and the python battle over the gazelle inside of the python. That was something to see. That's on the longer version for the Tanzania, the East African adventure. But guess what? You can join us for this adventure. And for all of the affiliates out there, be sure to share your link. And if the link was shared with you by one of our affiliates, please click the link, because at the link All you have to do is this, and I'm going to run it down for you. We'll give you the details in 1 second, but I know some people are wondering, how do I find? There we go. So we have a nice, so for example, if you're looking to go on the trip, we have a nice Tanzania trip coming up. And this is where you go to the website, you click it, destinations, and you can see right here. You click on it and you go, there we go. All the details are right here. Now we'll let you know that international airfare is not included. It's not included. We do include it for groups of more, and meaning group trips of more than 10. And when I say that, meaning you book the trip or you have the trip all together. And when I say that, there we go. All right. So we had some technical issues right there for a second. So international airfare is not included, but the reason why that is because the airlines require, let me come back over here. The airlines require minimums. And so we do so many trips, and sometimes we have the minimum, sometimes we don't. Now, if you want to bring like your family of 10 or more, then no problem. We can coordinate the international airfare into the price. If you have a large group, we can do that as well. Or let's say, for example, you have a small group, we do have an independent travel agent who can assist you with booking your airfare and getting you there, just to let you know. But airlines have their requirements and their restrictions. Nothing we can do about that. And sometimes, people change their mind, and then you're kind of doing that dance with the airline, and it just really makes it a weird kind of situation. If we did a few trips a year, then it might be different, but we do lots of trips. We have lots of travel partners. If you are a travel agent and you're interested in partnering with us, let us know. We are huge on collaboration. If you want to bring people and you want to be able to earn as well, we definitely can assist you with that. But this is what you do. You go to the website, and you go to the website. It gives you all the details: ground transportation, hotel, and so you go to the luxury tent here in Tanzania. I'm going to show you this in a second, but this is where you go. Click the link that you've been shared with your affiliate. If not, then you can go to the website. Here are all of the pricing, and then let's say, for example, you're interested in the double occupancy option. You can pay a deposit. Let's say you want to do deposit. Right here, you click that. And then let's say you want to scroll down. And then let's say you want to split the payment. Well, you don't want to split the payment. Let's see, there we go. All right. And this one you're going to have you'll have actually several more than 12 payment options available to you. And so that will, you'll have that available when it comes down to selecting your trip. Let's see here. Let me scroll over. All right. Here is the rundown. Let me give you the rundown on what the itinerary looks like, and then I'll share with you the special offer that we have coming up. It's about time. Time for yet another African adventure. And the destination is Tanzania and Zanzibar. We're taking you to the cradle of mankind, to the landscape that inspired the Lion King, to the heartland of the Maasai, then to some of the most pristine beaches in the world for a tropical paradise where you'll swim, sail, and watch dolphins play. Saying this trip is going to be an adventure is an understatement. The sights, the culture, the Black history is an invaluable life experience that frankly should be required of everyone. And we cannot wait to take you there.
Beautiful, wonderful.
I've been to Tanzania, even had the privilege of viewing the world from the highest peak in Africa on Mount Kilimanjaro. This experience was enlightening on a level I did not expect. And this is what we want you to be a part of, to relax and enjoy one of the most beautiful and meaningful landscapes in the world and to create memories that you can pass through generations. So how do we get the party started? We'll be kicking off our adventure in mainland Tanzania, a country in East Africa. Every country on the continent is unique, with distinct people, culture, and history. The best way to fully understand the context and frame of the right perspective is to be a part of it. This is not to say we can't learn and have fun. We've mixed up the itinerary with loads of R&R, and in the end, you'll have sampled the best in Tanzania's world-famous hospitality. What's going on, everybody? This is Jay. I'm now here in East Africa, and Tanzania is a country that I came to that literally changed my life. I want to show it to you, and that's what this East African adventure is all about. You're going to have the opportunity to see Dar es Salaam. Then we're going to go spend some time in the Serengeti. Then we're going to Zanzibar. And that's just a small part of East Africa, a small part of Tanzania. There's so much more, but this is a great introduction so that you can come see for yourself. Your adventure begins as soon as you land at Kilimanjaro International Airport, from where you can see the icy peaks of Mount Kilimanjaro. On day one, that's the day you arrive in Tanzania, not depart the U.S., you'll be picked up from the airport and taken to the hotel to check in, rest, enjoy the hotel's amenities, and shake off the day's travel before the welcome dinner later that evening. Bright and early the following morning, we are off to the Serengeti National Park. This overland park trip will involve long hours of driving on rough road. It will be physically demanding. However, the safari trucks are comfortable and we'll take breaks to stretch and take pictures.
Seeing something that this magnificent is awesome.
Unless you have a severe physical condition, the rough and tumble is manageable and well worth it. While people across all ages are welcome, parents should note that the trip is not tailored for children under 5. If you make the choice to bring them, which you can, be mindful that you will be solely responsible for their specific needs. Saying the Serengeti is magical doesn't begin to describe it. Consider that it is the backdrop that inspired the Lion King movie, and you'll begin to get the picture. As custom dictates, you simply don't take a tour of someone else's home without being invited in. So naturally, we'll be heading straight to the Maasai village. The Maasai are one of the few and last indigenous tribes that are holding on to their customary way of life. Being welcomed among them will be a rare chance to interact with the ritual and ceremony of nomadic life. We'll finish day 2 by checking into a luxury tented camp, which is a fully furnished and self-sustaining facility, offering the comforts of a lodge without taking away from the unique and rustic safari experience. The stillness, the darkness, the crickets, the sun rays streaming into your tent at sunrise. This is what peace feels like. It's day 3, and today you get to spend the whole day on safari. Serengeti is home to Africa's Big 5, the lion, the leopard, the buffalo, the elephant, and the rhino. But this is not only about game viewing. Driving through the endless landscape is, by itself, an experience that some have referred to as emotional. Day 3 also comes with an option to purchase a hot air balloon ride. Now, if driving through the Serengeti is magical, flying over it is divine. We want to get you on that safari truck. We want you on that hot air balloon. We are bridging the gap between the dream and reality. It's day 4, and today we are venturing even further into the Serengeti, arriving at the Ngorongoro crater and the Olduvai Gorge. Both sites are volcanic formations where archaeologists have found remains of the earliest humans. This is quite literally the cradle of mankind. It's now time to leave mainland Tanzania and fly to Zanzibar, the island of spices. After 4 days on safari, the sea breeze and sandy beaches will be a welcome change of pace. While we'll get to rest, relax, and engage in some water-based excursions, Zanzibar also offers some insightful cultural and environmental experiences. It is not called Spice Island for nothing. The Spice Tour is a chance to touch, smell, and taste organic cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon, and learn how they are grown and processed. Because of the large tourist and expat crowd, you will find food that is familiar to your palate. But we are on an exploration mission, and Zanzibar is the place to take this culinary journey. Zanzibar's Swahili cuisine is influenced by centuries of trade and immigration between Arab and Indian subcontinents. So we are talking rich, spicy, hearty, and of course tropical. The standard payment package is breakfast inclusive only, so remember to bring a minimum of $300 to $500 per person to cover any extra costs, including lunches, dinner, shopping, tips, and any activities not included on the trip's itinerary. Many of the smaller local businesses operate with cash, but a few of the more established facilities, such as hotels and mall stores, may accept Visa credit cards. You can exchange currency and buy phone SIM cards at the airport. The hotels are Wi-Fi connected for when, let's be honest, you want to get your social media friends envious of your African adventure. We often think of wildlife conservation in relation to the Big Five, but it's important to learn how smaller species of plants and animals contribute to the delicate preservation of life. The spice trade off the East African coast goes back to the 8th century when Persians arrived and built the first stone settlements. This trading history is directly linked to a darker, less talked about past, the Arab slave trade. If you fancy a full immersion into the history of Zanzibar, Stone Town is the place to go. With its century-old architecture and narrow streets, Stone Town is a lively blend of Arab and Swahili culture with a touch of the modern. You will also have the opportunity to visit Prison Island to learn more about the slave trade, feed the giant tortoises, or for a lighter touch, simply lay on the beach and sunbathe. It's day 8. Does it feel as if it's coming to an end? Yes. That's why today is all about sun and sand and, wait for it, swimming with the dolphins if you desire. Well, maybe not swimming with the dolphins exactly, but at some point during the day, we'll cross the bay at the heart of the dolphin sanctuary and you'll get to see them play and swim. As the sun sets, it'll be time to sail into the sunset and back to the city.
Yeah, I see.
Our adventure is coming to an end, but our whole new perspective of the world, its people, and of nature is just beginning. And there you have it. I cannot say this enough. Some experiences are invaluable. What this experience did for me, the clarity and the awakening that happens every time I go to Africa, far outweighs the investment in money. I will say that again. And this is what I want for you. And we cannot wait to take you there. That is right. We cannot wait to take you there. So that gave you the rundown on the itinerary. It is a 10-day experience in East Africa. You had a chance to see people living it, experiencing it, and you know that it's real. And we have a nice trip coming up this July, right around the corner, so you can be a part of it. And it's not too late to join us. Now, I will say this. definitely, if you want to go, it's time to go now because it is prime time in Tanzania. And so the luxury tents, they have a tendency to book up. So if you're contemplating, if you're on the fence, go ahead and pull that trigger, make it happen. If you have that affiliate link from your affiliate, click on the link, go to destinations, click on Tanzania, and you'll see it right there. Kicking off on July 18th, you'll be able to see everything spelled out for you. You don't need any vaccinations unless you're coming from a country that has yellow fever in Tanzania. Tanzania has an e-visa process and visa on arrival. Very easy. Very easy. We walk you through and make sure you have all of that in place. Make sure that your passport is that does not expire within 6 months of your travel date. So make sure that that is taken care of. If you don't have your passport, go ahead and get that. You will need a passport in order to travel to Tanzania, and Zanzibar is a part of Tanzania. So just know that they used to be two separate countries. You had Zanzibar and then you had Tanganyika. That was what the mainland was known as, Tanganyika. When they came together, they then became Tanzania. Some people say Tanzania. That's just another colonial way of saying it. I talked to the people on the ground, and they said, well, it's Tanzania. So I take the people on the ground, what they say. And I've heard it pronounced both ways. But again, it is a wonderful, wonderful experience. And you saw the folks that went with us. They enjoyed it. Now, you can come on and enjoy it. And guess what? This one coming up in July, I'm going to be there. That's right. I don't go I'm not on every trip. But the one coming up in July 2024, I'm going to be there. I'm going to lead the journey. We also have our team. They're going to be picking up. So we kind of split it up a little bit. They're going to be doing one part. I'm going to be doing another part. And you all will have a chance to be able to hang out, cut up with me. You know, I'm a cut up. I'm a bit more professional, you know, when I'm on the lives and everything. But those who know when they roll with me say, he's a clown for real. He's a clown because I love what I do. And I love people being able to have this experience. And I want to meet you in person. That's the deal. A lot of folks go on the trips and they say, well, will we ever have a chance to meet Jay? Well, if you come July 2024 to Tanzania and Zanzibar, you will definitely have a chance to meet me and hang out with me and meet the wonderful team on the ground. Anitha and the crew, they are there. Looking forward to seeing you and everybody who's there. I'll tell you, so this group that's coming in July 2024, I am really looking forward to it. A special group of people, and you're going to have a great time. And again, I do have something I want to share with you. I told you we had a special offer, right? Yeah, I got a special offer. All right, until March 1st, 2024, if you join us on any one of our trips, all you have to do is type the word summit in the coupon section. When you are registering, type the word summit, and then $300 will come off of per person until March 1st, 2024. So that's right around the corner, but that will take $300 off of the trip. And then again, you'll be able to see all the details. You'll be able to see the hotel. If you have any questions about that for when it comes to Tanzania, Kibu Palace is the first hotel in Arusha. And then you have the luxury tent in the Serengeti. You'll spend a couple of nights there. Then you go to the Doubletree at Nungwi in Zanzibar, right on the beach. So that'll be a part of your experience. Oh, here's the cool part about Tanzania. I'm throwing in something. I'm throwing it in. Normally, it's breakfast included, right? Normally breakfast only. Well, I'm throwing in all the meals. That's right. All the meals, Tanzania, on me. So lunch and dinner, on me. All right. So that's in addition to the $300, get lunch and dinner. So that's something that you can take advantage of if you join us, even if you decide to come in 2025, because you have the 2024 date available. And we're thinking about opening up December 2024. We're thinking about it. We'll see, because we're going to be building out Tanzania. I can tell you the places that we're going to be building out in addition to the other spots we have. South Africa is going to be major, as well as Tanzania. We're also Kenya is coming on board. We're going to be doing that strong, as well as Ethiopia and Colombia, Panama together, Brazil, We're going to be introducing our Puerto Rico, our Costa Rica. So those are all African diaspora destinations. You know, we are oftentimes associated with the language, the Spanish-speaking language in, let's say, Puerto Rico or Costa Rica. But there are so many people of African descent there. So anyway, I say all of that to say that join us in Tanzania, because what ends up happening, you see that side of the world, and you see it from a perspective from the Lion King and all of that. You're there, you're in it, you're looking, you're like, wow, this is amazing. And then you go to paradise. So join me. I look forward to seeing you either this July or next July in Tanzania. And want to remind everybody, please, when you book, make sure you get that travel insurance. Some frequently asked questions. Are these trips child friendly? You saw Jace in the documentary as well as in the follow-up. Now, she had a great time, but her mom, Claudette, made sure that she was entertained, and of course the animals and everything had her entertained as well, and she became everyone's little niece. So that was one part about it. We become a family on the trips. But sure, children, we have child discounts that are available, and you can see that there on the website, MaximumImpactTravel.com, or on the affiliate link that you received. So as far as mobility is concerned, if you do have a mobility challenge, it just depends. That's all. Let us know what the challenge is, and we'll let you know how and if we're going to be able to accommodate you. But we want you to have the experience, so let us know and let us see what we can do. So don't let that be a deterrent for you. As far as airlines that fly into Kilimanjaro International Airport, that is JRO. The most common airline I catch over is Ethiopian Airlines. It'll fly you into Addis Ababa, and then from Addis Ababa, you'll fly into JRO, which is Kilimanjaro International Airport. Another airline is Emirates that flies there as well. And so I've seen, I think I actually flew Emirates there one time. So just check and see. And if you need to talk to a travel agent, let us know once you book. And or if you're considering booking, let us connect you with our independent travel agent and make sure that that happens for you. And I say this for all of our trips and everything that we offer. This is how we do it. This is how we make sure that you're prepared. Travel insurance, cancel any reason. Once you book, make sure you do that. We send you a link so that you can take a look at the different options that are available for you. Travel insurance is essential. If you travel internationally without travel insurance, you are taking a tremendous risk. Some people do it. Some people say, hey, look, I'm not worried about it. And that's each person's prerogative. But what we try to do is make sure that you have that option available for you so that you can, so you know that we are looking out for your best interest by presenting that offer to you in the event that life happens and you need to file a claim and get a refund or something like that. Have your travel insurance in place to take care of that for you. Make sure you read the terms and conditions to make sure that the policy meets the needs that you're expecting, you're looking for. Travel insurance with medical, in the event that you get sick, you have that insurance. Your U.S.-based medical insurance might not be accepted in many international countries. So you want to make sure that you have that there as well. All right. So now let's talk about, I'm going to talk a little bit about another country that we're going to be sharing with you, and that's again on the website. You can take a look at it. And I'm just going to give you a brief rundown of Ethiopia because it's one of my favorite countries in the world. I love Ethiopia because it is the place that I felt has held on to the indigenous culture and is promoted. So in other words, it does not have the colonial feel the same way as other places. I know that, folks will say that Ethiopia was never colonized, and I guess never formally colonized. Now, but you definitely see colonial influence. Let me just say that. You definitely see it. But with that said, you also see how the indigenous culture is strong. And it is, again, I believe it's the place where it's the strongest. And it's a place that I every time I step foot in Ethiopia, my heart is warmed. I mean, I'm like, wow, look at this. This is amazing. I love Ethiopia. I love the people of Ethiopia. I love the food of Ethiopia. It is something spectacular. Now, the interesting story, when I first went to Ethiopia, and I saw the injera, I believe I think I pronounced that correctly. I opened up the bread and I looked at it, and I said, "This looks like the inside of somebody's stomach. I'm not eating this. I'm not eating this." Well, let me tell you something. I probably go to an Ethiopian restaurant. I venture to think I go maybe 6 or 7 times a month. So that's how much I love Ethiopian food. I was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, tracking down an Ethiopian restaurant. I think Ethiopian food has overtaken West African food in my African cuisine. If I do have a favorite African food, and this is amazing for me to even, unbelievable for me to say, Ethiopian. Yes, it is. The food, I love it. Don't do the spice so much, you know. The spice part is I gotta watch, but everything is not spicy. So everything is not, the heat is not in everything. So that's the deal when it comes to Ethiopia. Take a look at this, and let's talk a little bit about the Ethiopian journey. And Lupita, she had a good time over there. And so I want you to have a good time and join us in Ethiopia. Take a look.
Language called Ge'ez. Ge'ez means first. And this is the only language in Africa except Copts. This is the only language in Africa written, documented. We call it Ge'ez. We do believe it's the first language. So, this is our number and calendar.
This was built in 1632?
Yeah, 1632. This is where they were hanging meat. Have you seen Ethiopians are experiencing raw meat? Raw meat?
They eat raw meat?
Yeah, raw meat. Sadiku. This man was called Yohannes Sadiku because he freed the people from taxation. The first roof of the window, 1, 2, 3, was the symbolic of the three Trinity, and then the other one is that from top to bottom, the upper one is that is symbolic of Jesus.
This is Ethiopian honey wine. like I said, Ethiopia, and the honey wine as well. As a matter of fact, shoot, I feel like I'm about to go get me some Ethiopian food tonight. Vegans and vegetarians, y'all will love the Ethiopian food. I'm trying to tell you. Trying to tell you. Now, again, remember, first time I had it, I was like, what are y'all doing? And I think I got on a plane. I was on Ethiopian Airlines, and when you're in business class, what ends up happening is they start bringing you they brought me like Ethiopian food, and I'm sitting there like, okay, I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna try it again. And I got down and I was like, hold tight. I said, wait a minute. I said, wait. And you eat with your hands. I was like, hold tight. I started tasting. I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And now here I am. I'm hooked. All right, I'm not gonna go tonight. But before the end of the week, while I was there, the other night I had Ethiopian food. That's how deep it is. All right, so here's the deal, everybody. If you're interested in joining us in Ethiopia, here are, let's see here. Let's bring it up. All right. So here's, again, use your link, or you can go to the website, maximumimpacttravel.com, click on destinations. You can see all the places that we go to. And so let's say you're interested in joining us in 2025. Let's say next March or so, somewhere around there. Or, I don't know, let's say October. Let's say you're interested in joining us in October. Here's what the rundown looks like. This is what it looks like. And you can see here everything that's included. Now remember, international airfare is not included. It is not included. If you have a special group with 10 or more that you can guarantee at least 10 people, then we can work on the international airfare for you. And sometimes we can have a group of 20 people, 25, 30 people, and a lot of them want to get their own airfare. So they don't want the group airfare, so they opt to use points, or they opt to do something different. And so because of that, what ends up happening is, even with that, you're not able to get the minimums, because you can have a large group and then some people say, hey, I got points, or I'm going to get my own flights, and more of that's happening. So that's one of the reasons why we don't do it. Now, if we just did 1 or 2 trips every now and then, again, we have a lot of trips going on, but if we just did 1 or 2 trips every now and then maybe, we would do that. Now, and again, we would look to do it, because I know we have some, we got a group of 100 and almost 110 people going to Ghana next month, and so they're doing the airfare with that. We have a group going to Egypt with 50 people, and we're doing the airfare with that. We have another group of 93 going to Egypt, and so we're doing the airfare. So we can do it. It's just you have to have those minimums, and so if you don't, then it runs a really, really risky situation. And so just know, eventually we'll be on certain trips, we'll offer it, but other times we won't. So we just want to make you aware of that and why. That's the deal. But again, we can connect you if you're interested. We can connect you with our independent travel agent who can assist you with booking your trip. So here we go. Let's look at Ethiopia. All the details are here. We go to Lalibela, we go to Gondor, go to several different places actually. And as we go to these locations, you can see the full itinerary. Addis Ababa, you go to the Rastafarian community, you do the Addis Ababa tour, you go to the National Museum, you go to Unity Park. There's so many things going on. Mikado Museum, you get a chance to go to the Rastafarian village and learn. And again, and this is something I want to share with everybody. This is something, because this is another reason why I didn't travel anywhere. And I know some of this I don't know, y'all may or may not like me after I say this, but it's okay. That's why we're here to liberate ourselves. Just because, some people may not believe the same way we believe doesn't mean that we don't want to learn about them as people. And so for so long, because, I was in a culture where people said, no, don't go learn about them because, they're no good. They're no good. And then another culture, they're no good over there. So the only thing I was doing was hanging around people like me, and we were all in the same bubble, thinking and doing the same things. And it's when I started learning about other people, human beings, then that's when I would be effective with even sharing my story and what I was into. But if I was always in that bubble talking to them same people saying the same things, I really wasn't being effective according to what I was supposed to be doing. So I've learned that to appreciate that everybody doesn't do it the way I do it. and then also the influences behind much of what I do. So it gets deep, but it's something that especially when it comes to Ethiopia is one of those places because, so much of the influence of Ethiopia is all over the world. So you go to the Rastafarian village, and I know a lot of folks from Jamaica, they love to go and have a connection with Ethiopia. Go to the crocodile market in Arbor Minch. You get a chance to go to a village. This is something, again, this is an intense cultural tour. That's the one thing that I will tell you. You go to Gondor, to the castles in Gondor. And that was one of the most fascinating days when I was walking through the different castles in Gondor in Ethiopia, catch a flight up to Gondor. Then you go to the rock-hewn churches in Lalibela. And King Lalibela in the 12th century, he, instead of building the churches, he dug the churches, had the people dig the churches out of the mountain. And you go inside and you see people are still worshiping there, which you will find to be very interesting, I'm sure, when you go, and very informative and very educational. So you get a chance to go to Lalibela, Gondor, and then you head back to Addis Ababa. You get a chance to go to the restaurant in Abyssinia, and then where they do the dancing and the food and, of course, the nightlife. You got a comprehensive experience right there in Ethiopia. 3 different cities, Addis Ababa, Gondor, and Lalibela. Then you also go to the Rastafarian village. It is a 10-day experience in Ethiopia, and you can join us. And all you have to do is go to the website, MaximumImpactTravel.com, get all the details, click Ethiopia, and then you can take advantage of getting $300 off by typing the word summit in the coupon section. And when you do that, hey, you can join us and have a great time. So that's all I can say is this. You saw Tanzania, you saw everything that's going on there. We have Ethiopia and the history in Ethiopia. I went to Ethiopia because I needed some answers. And I got some answers in Ethiopia. As a matter of fact, I wasn't expecting to get some of the answers I got, but I got them in Ethiopia. And that's one of the reasons why I love Ethiopia, because even the coffee, you get the coffee and the popcorn, and you go into the lounge at Ethiopian Airlines, or how, when you get into that culture, you never think to eat popcorn and coffee together. You just don't put the two together. But going to Chaldees right there in Addis Ababa, you have Chaldees in the airport as well. But but in the city of Addis, you have Chaldees. That's one of the popular coffee spots. And again, you can tell. Just like I talk about Tanzania, I'm talking about Ethiopia. There are things that left an indelible impression on me, and that's why I want to take people. That's why we have a group that's so excited on these dates. A nice-sized group that's going to Ethiopia. And so even when it comes to Ethiopia, I tell people all the time, we will not go any place that we feel is unsafe. We will not do that. So different things, we'll hear different things going on around the world, and what about this going on over there? What about this happening? We're very responsible, and we pay attention to the different alerts, credible alerts, because some of these alerts are not credible. We have our folks on the ground who tell us what's going on, and they'll say, no, this might not be a good time to go. Now is a good time to go. We gauge it like that, and then we monitor and we see if any place hot spots around the world. But you know what? What I've learned, this is what I've learned. There's no place hotter than America. And if we delude ourselves into thinking otherwise, then we'll miss out on so much. And that's what I did for most of my life, thinking that America was not a hot spot. And I would think every place else was a hot spot, so I wouldn't go anywhere. I had to take those shackles off my feet so I could dance. I had to do it, and guess what? So many people are doing it. I would have never been on a safari. And you know what? A lion is going to attack you if you go out there. We have to stop being so spooked. Every time we turn around, something spooks us. Scared of everything. I said I had to get that. My grandmother, she would just worry. And she worried her whole life. And imagine what she could have done. And I didn't want to pick up that worry spirit, just worried about everything. Worried about things I couldn't even control. At some point, we all have an expiration date. And I don't want to get to the end of my journey talking about, man, I wish I should have. I wish I would have climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, but I was just scared because I heard stories about I was just scared. But you got thousands of people climbing every year. And you got people from all other ethnic groups climbing and seeing the world. That's what I see all over in Africa. Everybody else from all over the world, from Russia, from France, from Germany, from the UK. They all in East Africa, and then you come over to the West, you have the Chinese in West Africa, Chinese all over the continent of Africa, the Lebanese in West Africa. But we sitting at home talking about, I don't know. I got to think about this. I don't know. I don't know. I had to break that thing down. I just couldn't do it. But look at what happens. So many people are free. It's up to us to take the chains off our minds, take the chains off our wrists, take the chains that have been passed down, unbeknownst to us. It's up to us to do it. Nobody's going to do it for us because it's lovely to keep everybody in a particular place. It's easy. They love this. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Keep them all on the plantation. And then keep the bars up. You don't even have to do anything because they'll stay there themselves. Reminds me of an old story that I was told in Ghana, that there was a guy with a gun. And so basically the way he had the gun and he scared the people to the point where when he put the gun down and left, the people actually thought the gun had the power. And they were afraid to move because they thought the gun was going to do something, while the person with the gun was already gone. And so for many of us, because we don't know, that type of thing has been passed down to us, fear. And so that's the one thing I hope that everyone is inspired with, to get rid of this fear. Now, I'm not saying being irresponsible, and I'm not saying don't heed caution. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying this fear thing is stealing everything from us, and we don't even realize our full potential because we're afraid. And sometimes you got to do it scared. Sometimes you might be trembling in your boots or in your shoes or in your sandals or barefooted. But sometimes you still have to do it. And that's where the courage comes from. The one thing that stuck out to me in Ghana was when I saw all of the different establishments owned by the Lebanese and the Chinese, and they had no fear. You go to Jamaica, you see the Chinese in Jamaica. You come to the United States, you see the Lebanese owning the strip malls in the black neighborhoods. And you see the Chinese owning the everything. It's time for us to start owning something. And when I say owning, let's own our minds. Let's own our thoughts. Let's own our actions. And from there, what begins to happen is we begin to pass a different narrative down to the next generation. And this transcends money. This transcends all of that because, well, somebody said, well, I can go on a trip for less. If you're going on a trip, you show right. You show you right. Just like Barry White used to say, show you right. But if you're going on an experience, experiences are priceless. And that's what we spend our time and energy doing, creating experiences that change generations. We could whip together a trip and we could be doing all kinds of things that are just mindless trips. But what we think about is, how do we make this a well-rounded experience where you have all of the fun that you would have on a trip, but then when you come home, you have something to think about. When you come home, now you're able to you can take that, you know what, I think I'm looking forward to the next experience. I'm ready to do this again. I think I'm going to try it. Well, that's what I have for you tonight as a part of our travel summit. All you have to do is go to our website, MaximumImpactTravel.com. If you have your affiliate link, use that link. Take advantage of the $300 off until March 1st, 2024. As the quality of the videos that you see that we've shared with you, we spare no expense in changing the narrative. And we're unapologetic about it. That's the bottom line. We're going to tell the stories, and we're going to be proud. We're going to be proud to share it with you. We hope you join us in Tanzania, Zanzibar, Ethiopia, or one of the other destinations. So until tomorrow night, we'll be back talking about some more locations coming up: Panama, Colombia, Brazil. That's what we're going to be talking about. And as we leave tonight, again, here's a documentary that we have coming up, and I'm really excited about it. We're going to be filming the second half of it. First half was shot in Ghana. Second half is going to be shot in the United States as we bridge the gap between Africa and the African diaspora. You all can be a part of something special. Become a part of the Maximum Impact Travel family And again, check out our academy, check out our children's book series. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share to the channel that you're watching. Follow me on social media because there's much more on the way. If you all watched my interview that I did with Web Nation Africa, that is going viral right now, that is something that even I encourage you to share it and watch it and be a part of it. But I also want you to share and watch this. When you after you decide to join us, I want you to watch. Well, before you join us, watch this, but make sure you join us. Take advantage of the $300 off, and we'll see you again next time right here. Growing up in America as a black man is one of the most difficult things that you can do. For more than 500 years, there's been an intentional effort to separate those who descend from the continent of Africa from the continent of Africa. Through education, finances, religion, culture, this divide has spread throughout the world.
The educational system is the greatest propagator of that and the greatest poisoner of the minds, not only of African people who have a negative image of themselves, but non-African people who have a negative image of African people.
The American system was created so they can have workers. There is a story that's been sold to the rest of the world about Africa.
It's fed both ways. They're feeding us, oh, they're living in villages with big bellies and flies, and they're feeding, oh, they're just rappers and they're killing each other. And
it's bad that we have so many Europeans now visiting Africa than actually our own black people. Again, information, those Europeans, they know about Africa, but I want people in the United States, for example, to not know about Africa.
It hurts me so much to hear that we sold them into slavery. And so when I'm here and they come, there I say the devil is a liar. Why? Because, you know, they will know the truth.
They try to kill my soul. Don't want to see me
46-year-old George Floyd was choked by a cop digging
but
into
still I'm unstoppable. Still I'm unstoppable.
I had to make a decision to understand the truth, to understand the information that perhaps someone did not want me to know. What it began for me was a journey and a search for the truth to create a different legacy for my children. Education is so important, and knowing the history beyond what they teach us in the U.S., and they didn't teach me much of anything. That's why I apologize to you and your brothers for putting you all in that school system, because it wasn't right.
I want young people to see in the U.S. and these places, right? I really want them to begin to grow up seeing Africa as central to their future, as central to their opportunities, as central to their safety, as central to their being.
And let them know that this is who you are, be proud of who you are, and embrace it all.
Every agenda that's been pushed on us, it's time to destroy that and create our own narrative as people of color, as diasporans, and as the new Africans.
People need to see the world. They need to get on a plane, get in a car, go outside of your comfort zone, because when you go somewhere else, you understand people more. You can be more empathetic in certain situations because you know where they're coming from, and you can learn about yourself.
When I see my brothers from the diaspora come, it warms my heart so much. It makes me so happy.
And when you come here, it's not just a slavery story, it's when we were kings and still are kings.
As long as Africa is disrespected, we cannot enjoy our full potential as an individual of African descent until Africa itself is respected.
When I came to Ghana and discovered how much I was not taught, I realized the importance of educating myself. This is where it all began. This is where my life changed. This is where I began to discover who I was. And I want to take you on that journey with me.